Hi everyone, James here. This is a look inside the box of the Italeri 1/72 scale Stirling Mk.IV glider tug / paratroops transport. It's on the box. As I've previously said in another video, really like the box art. There's decal options for 4 versions. It's part of the D-Day anniversary, Normandy 1944 to 2014 type special boxes. Down here it's saying it's 100% new moulds. So on one side there's a scheme and another kit. It's the Horser, British paratroopers, promoting another of their kits in the range. There's the photo etch, multiple languages of the brief history of the Stirling, and giving you the length is 36.9 centimetres. Opening the box, excuse me, you get separate bagged clear parts within a separate bag of grey sprue. There's 3 bags. It's the photo etch and the mesh. It's the decals, a leaflet saying there's more kits to take a look at or buy in the catalogue and the instructions. So starting off with the plastic, this is D and both D sheets. You have the rear control surfaces, the props, one side of the wheels, and you have part of the engines as well at top, and landing gear. It looks to be all nicely moulded, no flash what I can see of. It's quite crisp. And this is the duplicate set to both sides. It's going in for a close-up. This is still sprue D. Next is sprue A. It's the 2 fuselage halves. You have the main cockpit interior with the rear fuselage flooring for the paratroops. It's the inside of the fuselage. There is some nice ribbing and structural detail. Again, there's no flash that I can see of. The parts are crisp. There's nasty moulding details on the fuselage. They are recessed panel lines with recessed rivet detail as well. Another close-up of sprue A again. See the rivet detail and recessed panel lines. It's the last bag of the grey plastic. It's C and D sprues. It's the top and the lower wing halves with the flaps, and there's the rear gunner. There's the glider tug. There's a deletion of the dorsal turret and the nose turret, and left the rear turret. Again, it's recessed panel lines and recessed rivet detail. Looks very nice. Another close up of the sprues. Here's the clear parts. Look, crystal clear. The framing is raised so you could mask yourself or buy masks. There's no scratches or splits. It was in a separate bag that helped it as well. Moving on to the photo etch and the mesh as well. It's in the same bag. With the seat belts, the glider's towing mechanism for the rear of the aircraft, and the instrument panel also. There was a bit of engine detail to add to. Moving on to the decals, they look in good register, the colours are great. They are printed by Cartograph. They're fairly thin, so they should go down well with some micro solvent set. You have the invasion stripes if you wanted to put them on as a decal or paint them. You could do yourself, might go down that route of painting them. There is what looked to be the option for maybe after D-Day for the wearing away of the invasion stripes look. It's a close up of the decals. Here's that option to have that faded, worn look of the invasion stripes. The interior green on the decal is a bit questionable. It looks similar to the US interior green instead of the British. Lastly, the instructions. On the front there is multiple languages, including English, for the brief history of the Stirling. Opening the page, you get the 2 pages showing the sprue map and where all the parts are on the sprues, as well as the clear parts from the photo etch as well. There is paint suggestions at the bottom over the page. Steps 1 to 4 is the assembly of the cockpit. And And again, steps 5 over the page is adding the pilot area to the upper deck, flight deck. Step 6 is adding the cockpit to the main middle section of the fuselage. I think that's indicating the bottom, to add these two parts for the doors of the bomb bay, I guess here. 7 to 9 is adding windows. You could, if you wanted to, open up windows yourself and use the glue and glaze to make another mark. Step 10 is adding the interior to the one side of the fuselage and building up the bulkheads of the front turret. 11 is adding the rear tail wheel assembly. 12 and 13 is adding rear components and the glider tug mechanism to the rear. 13 is sealing the two halves together and adding the access door. Step 14 is the rear control surfaces assembly as well as the fin, rear tail. 15, there is an option to make them move, as well as alternative options to have the astral dome or blanket off near the cockpit area. You're adding all the glazing in 15 also. 16 is, I guess this would be the bomb bay, adding the doors. 17, again, alternative option to have it in flight or the rear tail wheel down. Over the page to 18, you're starting to add the glider tug mechanism here. 19, again, alternative options. You could cut out or paint the plastic for the navigation lights. 20 and 21, I'm not sure here, but you're adding more doors to the lower halves of the wings. 21 is telling you ×2 to build the main landing gear. 23 to 27 is the assembly of the landing gear on both sides and gluing the two wing halves together. The assembly of the engines. 29, adding the engines to the wings and the control surfaces, as well as the intakes also, or radiators. 30 and 31 is the assembly of the rear turret and adding it to the rear, as well as adding the two wings to the fuselage. The 31 build steps, you have the 4 schemes here at the back in colour. then the bottom option here is the use of the worn or fading invasion stripes. So that's the Italeri 1/72 scale Stirling Mk.IV glider tug / paratroop transport, and thanks for watching.